Hi guys. Um, Today I thought I'd do a video on my top 10 tips to get rid of your palpitations. Over the past few months, I've done lots of videos on the subject of palpitations and I've had great feedback. Um, and today I thought I'd try and summarize a lot of the kind of things I've said in my videos in my top 10 tips. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Sanjay Gupta. I am a cardiologist in York in the UK, and I deal with a lot of patients who are very troubled with palpitations. And from personal experience, I found that some of these tips really do work. And not only do they help in getting rid of the palpitations, but they also give a feeling of well-being and generally make you a healthier person. Okay, so who is this video for? This video is for those people who are troubled with recurrent palpitations and who have been to their doctors and who have been investigated, and the doctor has said, we have not found anything, so don't worry about them and they'll go away. And the patient does not feel adequately reassured and continues to get the symptoms. And when the symptoms happen, the patient gets very worried. Is my heart going to stop? Am I going to die? Am I going to have a heart attack? What's going to happen? And this video is for those people. Okay, so tip number one. Okay, stop worrying about them. This is perhaps the most important tip I can give you. Stop worrying about them. Okay, if they have been checked out, if you have a structurally normal heart, if your palpitations have been put down to ectopics, which are thought to be benign, where your cardiologist has said, well, these are just ectopics, don't worry about them, they'll go away. The most important tip is to really try and stop worrying about them. Nothing bad is going to happen to you. You are not going to drop down dead. You are not going to have a heart attack. Okay, these are inconvenient, but they are not dangerous. So stop worrying about them. Why is it so important to stop worrying about them? One of the main reasons is that anxiety precipitates them. So what happens is you notice them, you get worried, the adrenaline, the cortisol that you release causes more palpitations. And then you get into this vicious cycle where you worry more and more come on. So it's important just to try and take stock and say, look, I've been told they're not dangerous, nothing bad is going to happen to me, and soon they will go away. Okay, so tip number two, all right, cut out excessive alcohol, particularly binge drinking. Okay, binge drinking brings them on, and wine in particular, the sulfites in wine can contribute significantly. So for a little while, cut out alcohol altogether if you can, and that will help undoubtedly. Similarly, cut out any excessive caffeine or carbonated drinks or energy drinks that you may be taking, because these will all increase your likelihood of having palpitations. And once you stop them for a few weeks, you will start noticing the benefit. Tip number three, stop smoking. If you're smoking, you are inducing chronic inflammation within your body. And as your body gets more inflamed from all the toxins from the tobacco, you will find that your heart does get more irritable. So stop smoking if you can, and that'll make a huge difference. Tip number four, start doing some gentle exercise. The number of people I meet who worry about going and exercising because they think, oh, if something happens? You've been checked out. You have a structurally normal heart. Stop worrying about it. Go and do some gentle exercise. No one is suggesting that you go mad. No one is saying that go and, lift 200 kilos above your head every day. But just going for a gentle walk on the treadmill, do 10 minutes of gentle walking on the treadmill daily and build up from there. And you will find that this makes a huge difference. Why? Because exercise is an anti-inflammatory, has an anti-inflammatory role. It reduces inflammation. We know that because For example, when we feel unwell, when we feel down, when we have a little bit of the flu, if you go and do a little bit of gentle exercise, you come back and you have this feeling of well-being. You feel refreshed. You shake off your flu. And that is because of the beneficial effects of exercise. And similarly, if you do gentle exercise every day, you will find that your palpitations get less frequent. Okay. Tip number 5, pay some attention to your sleep levels. Okay, this is so important. A lot of people who get palpitations do so because they have poor sleep hygiene. The first thing to say is that as people are getting older and people are getting fatter, there is a higher prevalence of sleep apnea, which means that you're not breathing as well when you're sleeping as you would be during the daytime. And this results in people feeling tired, and a lack of sleep is a huge inflammatory, has a huge inflammatory effect on the body. We know that again because we know that if we feel unwell, if we feel like we have the flu and we go and get a good night's sleep, we feel better for it. And this is the same with the palpitations and the ectopics, etc. If you sleep well, you are less likely to get them. Tip number 6, try and reduce your stress levels. Stress is inflammatory, okay? If you're under a lot of stress, this will bring on your palpitations. And if you want to get rid of the stress, if you want to get rid of the palpitations, one of the best tips I can give you is take some time off work, go away on a holiday, preferably to somewhere which is sunny, and that will make a huge difference, and you will notice a huge difference in how you feel. Tip number 7, okay? Tip number 7, reduce the amount of processed food you're having, okay? Even though you may think you're eating healthy, the truth is very little of what we eat is healthy. There's been so much, and there's been so much in the news recently about food and how the food industry is really controlling us, and compromises made by the people who regulate the food industry and the people, the people who run the food industry result in compromises within us. Simple things. If you are, if you're rearing hen in a space which is meant for 10 hen, but you choose to rear 1,000 hen in it, then those hen are not going to be healthy hens. And then when these hens are slaughtered, you're eating them. And in some ways, we are what we eat. So if we're eating something unhealthy, if we're eating something sick, there's no doubt we're going to not be as well. And I'm confident that that is another reason why there is so much of this kind of thing in the population today. 100 years ago, there was nothing called peanut allergy. When I was a little boy, I hadn't heard of anything called peanut allergy. Yet nowadays, everyone's got it. Why is this happening? It's happening because people who regulate the food industry, who control the food industry, use lots of preservatives, process the food in lots of ways, and use lots of chemicals. And those chemicals we ingest, and they cause small but noticeable effects in our bodies. So it's really important. It is well recognized that heavy processing of food will destroy a lot of important minerals and vitamins that we need, particularly magnesium levels. So it's really important to try and see if you can eat healthier, eat organic, if you can, and that will make a difference. Okay. Next, and the other thing, of course, to say with eating is that try and reduce the portions you take. Okay, so try and eat smaller amounts, because if you stretch your stomach, then that can sometimes have the effect of bringing on your palpitations. All right. Next thing. A lot of people these days suffer from reflux. And again, this is something which is very, very definitely due to the modern lifestyle and the kind of food we eat and the amount of food we eat. So if you do suffer from reflux, then it is very important you get that treated, okay? Because reflux is hugely inflammatory. If you are chronically inflamed in your esophagus, you can imagine how inflamed you are within your body, and your heart will become more irritable. Why? Because inflammation gets rid of vital mineral ions, and that will increase the electrical irritability of the heart. Okay, so get your reflux treated, and try and avoid those things which bring on reflux. For a lot of people, it's dairy products or chocolate, cheese. That kind of thing can bring on reflux. Try and avoid taking those things. Try and minimize to check your iron levels and your ferritin levels, because even though you may not be anemic, you may still have early iron deficiency. And also ask him to check your thyroid function tests, okay? Just to ensure that you're not developing hyperthyroidism or hypothyroidism, and that can cause your palpitations. It's also worth getting him to check your magnesium, but bear in mind that the magnesium that is measured is not reflective of total body magnesium. So you may have a normal plasma magnesium level, but you may be actually magnesium deficient. And one of the most common reasons for magnesium deficiency is heavy processing of food. And tip number 10 is try some magnesium supplementation. A lot of people have asked me what kind of magnesium supplements. Well, the best thing is to eat more leafy vegetables if you can. If not, then you can ask your GP to see if he could prescribe you some magnesium citrate, and that will help. Alternatively, you can also try using something like amiloride, which is a mild diuretic, which has the effect of reducing excretion of magnesium. So one option is to take in more magnesium. The other option is to reduce the amount of magnesium you're excreting. I would give those 10 tips a try, and I'm sure that you will find that you feel better and your palpitations get less frequent. I hope you found this video useful. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch with me. I am now on Twitter and on Facebook, and I can also be contacted via my website. A lot of people have asked me if they can have consultations with me. I am now set up for telephone consultations as well as consultations in person. And I work in York, so if you wanted to get in touch with me, log on to my website, send me a message, and I'll get back to you. I wish you good night and take care.